I've had hundreds of young adults go through my mindfulness programs, and I interviewed a couple dozen when I wrote the book. And that was one thing that came up most often, is just kind of struggling with their relationship with digital media, screens, or social media. And it's something that's just up in society right now. And, I kind of think of it as through the lens of like,
technology. And I know in your book, you speak about technology and relation to technology and social media. And it's
mm,
just this, I was talking to a friend of mine about, there was a time where I actually didn't have a cell. Like, I don't know if you remember the days where there were when the pagers came out, like, and that was the big thing at the
mhm,
time. I had a pager when I went to university. When family needed to
yeah,
reach me, they would page me. I go to like payphone, so
yeah,
life has changed. So I'm wondering if you can say a little bit about that. And I know you go more in detail, and I'll put the link to your book as well in the description below. But if you can share a little bit about that, and maybe this social
mhm,
media use, and a lot of people use it even not just throughout the day, but in bed before they go to sleep. So can you share a
yeah,
bit about that?
sure, yeah, yeah. And I've had hundreds of young adults go through my mindfulness programs, and I interviewed a couple dozen when I wrote the book. And that was one thing that came up most often, is just kind of struggling with their relationship with digital media, screens, or social media. And it's something that's just up in society right now. And I kind of think of it as through the lens of like tools that humans have developed over time.
Mhm.
And the tools that stand the test of time are the ones that have like a net benefit, whether it's, say, like a fish hook and a fish line. It's pretty effective to catch fish and feeds
Yes.
our families. And, there's a lot of pluses there. And then with, say, digital media or social media, it's a very new tool that we're still figuring out. And can we allow it ourselves to use it for where there's benefit? So say like a podcast or what we're doing here, it allows, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts when I drive, and it's allowing me to gain wisdom in a very scalable way. And,
Yeah.
or, during the pandemic, my 12-year-old daughters could connect with their grandparents in Victoria via Zoom
Mhm.
in a way that, we weren't able to go to Canada for 2.5 years. And so to be able to connect with loved ones is such a powerful use of social media and digital media. And then it also has its downsides,
Yeah.
potentially around addiction, and overuse, or like comparing our day-to-day lives with other people's kind of best days. So often what people post on social media is sort of like their best moments. And can
Yes.
that allow us to compare ourselves to them, but we're actually just seeing a slice of their life. And there's money to be made from organizations on social media, digital media, advertising, all that kind of stuff. So can we use our mindful awareness to notice, say, when we're engaging with digital media or social media, is this the best use of my time right now? And so if I'm, engaging in a Zoom call with my parents and my daughters, like, that's a good use of our time, and
Yes.
we're good. But if I'm like, doom scrolling through some kind of like
Not
social media
helpful.
platform, just lost in it, could I, actually be, connecting with my wife instead, or like
Right.
doing something that would be a benefit? So that's always a little check that I have of,
Yes.
is this helpful in this moment? If yes, keep doing it. And if no, can I let it go, knowing that there's pieces in play that have developed a lot of these digital tools that encourage us to kind of be attached to them, to keep using them, um, and know that there's causes and conditions that have gone into that. So we only have so much personal power to work with that. But I find mindfulness is actually a pretty helpful skill to, one, have the self awareness of our thoughts, emotions,
Mm.
physical sensations, on how that social media is making us feel, And two is to have the skills and attention control to be able to shift our attention
Mm.
to something that would be of greater benefit, if there is something else that would be of greater benefit, but our self-awareness will tell us that.
Mm.
So that's how I tend to work with it personally,
Yeah,
and what comes up in the book and how I engage with others
I
around it too.
mentioned it. This there's a it's not making it good, evil, or just it's the best thing on the planet. There's really what we do in the MBSR program as well is a nurturing. What is a relationship we have with social media? Are we using it to cover up things that we don't want to feel? And sometimes we need that.
Mm,
We need to distract, but is it helpful? And
yeah.
you're sharing this, it reminded me for me of quite a change that I made that I found so useful, which I had a habit of before going to bed. Oh, just check what's happening with sports, things like, just a little, almost like a treat. And it actually affected my sleep. So
Mm,
it's been years. I don't remember the last time I've done that, but for me, it's become a habit. There's no phone in bed, and my sleep has quite improved.
mm, mm,
So this relationship again that you mentioned is how are we interacting with it,
mm.
examining it.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.